If you turn on cable news, corporate news, and you see that in spite of the fact that overwhelmingly scientists are united behind the idea that human activities on Earth are having an effect or are likely having an effect on climate, you see one person arguing that position and one person arguing the position that, no, we don't know anything, there's nothing going on, there's no climate change. You would think, wow, for all of these one versus one debates, it really seems that it's a controversy, that both sides are equally plausible. That's not true, but we now have a lot more information about where the funding for the climate change denial movement is coming from. There is a billion with a B, Lewis, climate change denial network that has been exposed. Wired UK has an excellent article about an extensive study that was done into the financial networks of these groups that support denying the science of climate change. And it seems to be bankrolled by a lot of the usual suspects. Probably not surprising, but valuable to get this out in the open. The think tanks, the industry associations, all bankrolled by conservative billionaires, many of whom, completely unsurprisingly, Lewis, have ties to making millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions or billions of dollars from fossil fuels. No surprise at all that the connection is there.
No, of course not. I mean, we could have predicted this. We did predict this, of course, without even needing to hear about this investigation.
The study was authored by Robert Brull, and he published this in the journal Climatic Change. And he said to The Guardian, I call it the climate change counter movement. It's not just a couple of rogue individuals doing this. This is a large-scale political effort. He exposed how a network of 91 think tanks and industry groups in the United States are primarily responsible for conservative opposition to climate policy. Almost 80% of these, Lewis, are registered as charitable organizations for tax purposes and collectively received more than $7 billion between 2003 and 2010. No surprise, the American Enterprise Institute is there, the Heritage Foundation is there, etc., etc. This is the epitome of influence peddling under the guise of nonprofit work, and it is absolutely part and parcel to the key problems we are dealing with in the American political system right now, which is money's influence on politics.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject because on one hand, you've got countless people and scientists that are just genuinely concerned about the well-being of the people on this planet. And on the other hand, you've got incredibly rich people who at any cost just feel the need to make more and more money and literally at any cost destroy the world just for a few million more dollars.
And the sad part is this surprises no one. Who's surprised by this? This is great investigative work going through 91 think tanks and organizations, tracking the money, exploring who's behind them, seeing that it is the same conservative voices that are so in line with the fossil fuel energy industry, but it surprises no one. This is the status quo. We are all used to it. We all expect it. And it turns out that, as usual, those with economic power don't have the same voice, the same size voice as those who don't have economic power. They have an exponentially bigger voice. They have an exponentially larger amount of power over the political, cultural system. And that's where we are. And maybe the fact that it is completely unsurprising tells us more than any of the details.
Well, let's hope that the scientific community as a whole can overpower the money aspect of this debate.
Let's hope so. Yeah, I wish I were more optimistic about that. We will continue talking about this, and the conversation will continue on our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/David Pakman Show. We'll take a break and be back with plenty more right after this.